Every now and then you get a chance to chop it up with Todd Price. Todd, tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm Todd Price. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I'll give you the short version. Um, I'm a serial entrepreneur um, turned into a business coach and um, love to help people kind of change their lives, both whether it's physically and from a um, like personal training coaching side of things, or whether it's from a business side of things. I like pouring into other people and seeing them reach their goal. I've reached a lot of mine, and obviously, I still like to challenge myself in new ways, and as much as I can. But at the same time, I love helping others. So that's kind of been my big thing lately, is pouring into other companies and things of that nature.
What does your shirt say, by the way?
Kill all pedophiles.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
So it's my shirt. It's on my website. It gets a lot of attention when I wear it. So, but yeah, I love it.
So I take it you didn't get any invites to Epstein's Island.
Never did. Thank God, never did. If I did, I'd probably be facing murder charges right now.
Or you'd be a hero. One or the other.
Depends on who's looking at it, right?
Talk a little bit about what it takes to be an entrepreneur, because you're outspoken and I love that about you. And I've only gotten to know you here for a few minutes. But most entrepreneurs are fearless compared to people that work a 9-to-5 job. And you got to be a little bit fearless to chase your dreams.
Yeah. I think you have to be a little bit fearless, and I think you got to be a little bit crazy at the same time. When I started down the road of becoming an entrepreneur, I feel like this is what a lot of people kind of struggle with. They want more for themselves. They want more out of life. They want more out of fitness. They want more out of whatever aspect of their life that it is. But they're scared to chase it for a couple different reasons. Primarily being one that they'll fail, and what people will think of them if they do fail. Which, to me, like, fuck what everybody thinks. But I understand the being scared that you might fail. I get that, but so many people will go half in, like kind of dance on the line and put one foot in, one foot out. And I see that with whether it's changing careers or if it's going into entrepreneurship or starting a new business or whatever. And you can't do it. I relate a lot of things to fitness because I have a huge fitness background. I did bodybuilding for years. I retired from bodybuilding now, but like if I try to go on a diet 50% of the time, or I say I'm going to start this new lifestyle, I'm only going to work out, half the days out of the week, and I'm not going to put everything that I want into it, I'm not going to get the same results that I want out of it. So business is the same way. And so when I started, a lot of it for me was I did it just strictly for the money. I didn't do it for everything else, the helping people, the pouring into people, I did it strictly for money because I didn't have anything. I was homeless. I was an addict, and then I met my wife and I got back into the gym industry, and she ended up working a job making like $400 a week to cover our bills when I went out and tried to start my own thing. And the only reason I started my own thing was because in the gym industry, I had a business owner. I had worked my way up in the industry, and I had one of the owners of the gyms that I worked directly with, and I was the regional manager. And he was the first person to see something in me or see faith in me. And it started to give me this hope that I could do this. And I was learning a lot of stuff from him on the business side of things, not just sales. I was great at sales. And then I had one of my trainers that was doing roofing on the side, and he started sending me pictures of his paychecks. And so I was like, fuck, I gotta try this thing out. And so I told my wife, I said, I'm going to go all in. I'm going to try it. Let's just see what happens. And So she was making like $400 a week, and we had to figure out what bills to get, what to cover, what not to pay this month, what we could skip on, what meals we could get by on, et cetera, et cetera. And it took me a little while, but the more wins I stacked up, the more I never doubted like my decision, and I knew that I was capable of doing anything. And the more wins, no matter how big or small, it gave me like reassurance and like this belief that I can fucking do anything I want to do if I put my mind to it. And that's where I got to. And so, after a couple years, I started passing like all these other companies that had been around for 15, 20 years. And I was like, well, fuck it, I'm going to do 50 million. And people laughed at us. Like people laughed at me and my business partners.
This
And
is doing
I
the
was like,
roofing,
okay.
right?
Yeah, this is doing roofing. And they laughed at us. And, it was, so being an entrepreneur for me, it started off as being about the money. And then like over time, it completely changed who I was as a person. It changed my mindset of what's possible in life. It changed my mindset of helping others, like getting big paydays. I've built and sold 4 companies now. I've got 2 more that we're working on selling right now. And like, so I've gone through this process a lot, and like you have these big paydays that hit, and it's fucking awesome. And you have this like sense of relief that you did this thing, or accomplishment that you did this thing. But as soon as it's over, it's like, all right, well, what's next? Like, I still need a new challenge, like, and I tried the retirement thing. Like I tried it for like 3 or 4 months, and I sat back and enjoyed life with the family, which I still do. I still eat dinner every day with the kids. I eat every single meal with the wife. I go to at least once a week to have lunch with the kids. So I love the freedom, but after like 3 months, I was like, I can't fucking do this. Like I feel worthless. And before I didn't have that, so you start understanding like how much that accomplishment and who you become and those wins make you feel, and how much more important that is, and helping others and changing the lives of others, whether you're pouring into them or they work for you or whatever it is. I feel like that's so much more rewarding than going and buying a fucking Ferrari or anything like that. Like, I mean, that's cool, but that shit fades. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm a car guy. Like, that's one of my things. I love cars through and through. But still like helping people and being able to spend more time with your family, and the freedom and flexibility, and being able to pour into others. When I didn't have that, and me and my business partners didn't have that, we just had to take hits across the face and figure out, oh, here's where we fucked up, or this isn't going to work, or we get fined for doing this. Like, so now being able to do that kind of stuff is far more rewarding and exciting to me. And that's why I love the road of entrepreneurship, because you can create your own journey. I think a lot of people are just fucking scared, man. It's if you have the mindset, if anybody had the mindset to know that they could do anything that they wanted to do in life, I feel like they would 100% do it. Whether it was, build a business, be a bodybuilder, be a pro fighter, do this, do that, they would 100% go after it if they knew there was no chance of failing. But like that failure is where you learn. That's how you become more knowledgeable. And I tell people that I work with, I'm like, you're gonna fail. Like when you start a company or you go into this, or there's going to be things that you do that you fail in, but that's just, you learned that way didn't work, like, and so you have to do it a different way, and that's fine. That's just how everybody learns. But you're learning for the first time that that's not the way to do this, and you got to do it this way, and this way might not work. You might fail again, and you learn it this way, but it's possible. You just have to know that it's possible and keep pushing through until you figure out the right way to do it. And I feel like too many people give up before then, or don't have enough faith in themselves that they're going to do. And I tell the story a lot about Roger Bannister. I'm sure you're familiar with who Roger Bannister is, but
Roger Bannister, the runner.
Yeah, the runner. And like for people watching that don't know who that is, he was the first person to ever run a 4-minute mile, and I think it was back in the 50s, I believe, 50 or 52, something like that. And nobody had ever done it. And then all of a sudden, here comes Roger Bannister and breaks this barrier of 4 minutes that was impossible to do. And then I think that record lasted for like 30 something days.
Yeah.
So like not
I
even a
think like
month
nine
after
people
it
broke
happened.
it after like a year after he'd broken it. Nine other people broke.
Yeah. And now there's like 1,300 people that have done it. There's like somebody every month doing it. Somebody new every month doing it since it happened. So, it's all with the mindset. Like if you believe you can go out and do something, no matter what it is, you can do it. And I feel like that's why people are scared to get into entrepreneurship, is because they just don't have that drive, or just their lifestyle. They're used to not stacking wins, and they're accustomed to, to I don't want to say losing or failing, but like I tell everybody, like everything that you do in life, you're either stacking wins or you're stacking failures. And like one of the biggest things for me is, I don't care if your alarm's set for 3 a.m. or 7 a.m. or whatever, but like if you hit that snooze button, you failed the first task of the day. And then those failures are going to start stacking up, because now you're late getting ready, so you got to hurry so you don't pack your meals. So then you go eat Taco Bell at lunch because you didn't have time
Is
to
Taco
meal
Bell
prep.
actually
And
still
then
considered food?
I don't know. I haven't eaten there, I think, since I was a kid. So I think I was probably in the single digits when I ate there.
They've got a big
But like,
Taco Bell here in Vegas, and I drive by it all the time, and I keep thinking to myself, what in God's green earth are people eating there?
I don't know who's going there, man.
Somebody is.
Like, I'm trying to even think. I was trying to think if I've even seen a commercial for Taco Bell, but I don't even have cable. I don't know. And I haven't seen it online or Instagram or anything like that. So I don't know, but I guess people, I remember you used to see commercials for them all the time. Them and Pizza
Remember
Hut
the little
was the,
Chihuahua? El Quiero Taco Bell.
yeah, all the time. And it was like everybody talked about it and joked about it and mocked that. Every time you'd see a Chihuahua, you'd say that. Like, and now I think people have
Shout
forgot
out to
about that.
the
I don't know
Taco
who's
Bell
eating.
Chihuahua. You know, it's funny. You talk a little bit about stacking wins. And a long time ago, not too long ago, but a long time ago, I had to make a personal choice in my life. I was given an option, go to jail or do 3 years probation and get sober. And I chose the latter, which was a better choice for me. And my first day, I realized I started looking at him like, wow, 3 years. I got to look at 3 years. I kept thinking 3 years, 3 years. Then it occurred to me, I can't even focus on 3 years. I got to stay sober today, because if I fail my piss test, it's over. And I literally started
Yeah.
looking at sobriety as a way to stay sober every single day. So once I got through that first day at midnight, I remember like it was yesterday. 1 minute past midnight, I saw the clock. I said, all right, I won this day. That's a win.
Yeah.
Now I got to stay sober today. And I considered like 1 minute past midnight the next day. And then I did it again. And I started realizing that my mindset was changing, because as I started staying sober one day at a time, I started winning each day. I remember like it was yesterday. I was just telling myself, I won today. Today's a win. I would just put it in the
That's
win
it.
column. And after about 90 days, I started creating a habit of winning days that I just kept telling myself, I'm a fucking winner. And I started feeling like a winner. I started changing everything. Even my social media name, I changed to Chris Champion. And eventually, so many people called me, hey, champ, champion, yo, champ. People refer to me as champion. I was reinforcing in my mind that I was a winner. And when you change
Yep.
that mindset, when you start stacking those wins, like you said, every time you kept saying it, I'm like, wow, this is so on point. And I try to tell people, listen, if you can literally just tell yourself, hey, I'm going to do these three things today. And if you get these three things done, that's a win. Put that day in the win column. And then you do something else the next day. If you stack 90 days in a row where you mentally tell yourself, I won that day, eventually you start creating a winning mindset. And when you get your mind right, you get your life right, you get your body right, you get your money right, you get your love right, you get everything right.
Well, and people too, they think for a win they have to go do something fucking phenomenal. And I'm like, you don't have to do anything phenomenal. Just like you said, if it's three things that I want to get done around the house today, I might get them done before 11 o'clock in the morning. But like I feel accomplished. And now I have the rest of the day to go train, to hang out with the wife, to go eat lunch with the kids, go pick the kids up, do whatever. But I still feel accomplished because I did those, and they might have been super minuscule things, like small things that took me 5 minutes each, but it was something I had to do.
That's a great
And
point.
it builds that.
Well, that's a great point because if you think about where my story and my journey started, I just had to accomplish one thing, and that is just not put alcohol in my body. And
Correct.
some people would say, well, that's super easy. But in
No, it's
reality,
not.
it's not always that easy. And based on who you are as a person, those three things to other people might be, oh, that's super easy. But those three things to you are super important. And you got to literally say to yourself, I don't give a fuck what the world thinks is easy. I'm just going to try and win this day for myself. And when you start living for
Yeah.
yourself, your life starts taking on a new meaning.
And even though it might be little things, they stack up over time. If I go outside and I stack 3 bricks up, and I do that every day, eventually I got a big ass fucking wall that I built. Like, and people are gonna be like, damn, that's a big ass fucking wall. But it took me 3 bricks every single day, day by day, for a long period of time. And that's what people don't understand. And it's stacking those wins, not only stacking them, but consistently, because that's what instills in your mind that I'm a winner. I do this every fucking day. And I remember the same thing back when I was a fucking addict and an alcoholic, and like I was homeless, didn't have anywhere to stay, didn't do nothing, like literally didn't do nothing. Don't remember majority of my life back then. And I remember when I got sober, especially on the weekends, like I could work through the week and it made it easier. It made time go by faster. But especially like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm like, what the fuck are we supposed to do? Like, what does everybody do on the weekends that doesn't drink, or that doesn't go out? And like, it was mind blowing to me because 8, 9 o'clock would come around and I'm like, well, we got it. We're supposed to be doing something. And so it was hard for me to get. And now people are like, hey, do you want to go have dinner at 8 o'clock on Friday night? I'm like, fuck no, I'm at home with the kids on Friday night or Saturday night. Like, we might get in the hot tub and hang out or play in the pool or play with the farm animals or something. I don't want to go nowhere.
Wait a
Like, I want
second,
to
you
be
got
left
farm
alone.
animals?
Yeah, we have a whole farm.
What kind of
We got a
animals?
bunch of land. We got Highland cows. We got goats. We got donkeys. We got pigs, chickens,
Oh,
roosters,
you got a
sheep.
real farm. You got a real farm.
Yeah.
My buddy here in
Yeah.
Vegas, he recently, about 2 years ago, bought chickens. And he's got chickens in his backyard. And like he gets fresh eggs. He literally it was like we're gonna have chickens. And I go over to his house. He's got like this whole setup. And the chickens, they're all like big fat hens, and he just literally has chickens. And he's like, yeah, this is the best. I get fresh eggs. And then his kids feed
They're the
the
best eggs
chickens,
in the world.
huh?
They're so good. They're the best eggs in the world.
Well, here's the crazy thing. And I tell people this all the time, but it's like until you see it, you don't realize it. I used to go over to his house and we'd have breakfast in the morning. And his eggs are more orange, like the actual
Yeah.
inside of the eggs are like bright orange compared to the eggs you get at the grocery store. I mean, and it's crazy. Like they're insanely orange. Like I tell people, it's like you're almost thinking you're eating something that's you've never eaten before.
Yeah. And I don't know what they do to eggs in the fucking grocery store or what, but like, they'll go bad pretty quick. Like if you leave them in your fridge or whatever, eggs can go bad. Like with fresh eggs, you don't even refrigerate them and they'll last you months. Like you just, as long as you don't wash the outside of the egg off, which has some sort of coating that when the hen lays it, it's on the egg. But as long as you don't wash the outside of the egg, you set it in a basket on the counter and they'll last for months.
Well, wait a second. If you
Fresh.
just set it there in a basket, don't they actually hatch? Don't they eventually just hatch?
No, you have to put them in an incubator.
Oh, okay, good.
So,
I'm sitting here
and
thinking you got
all,
eggs hatching in your kitchen. Like, who put the eggs out
not
again?
all
We got birds all over the place.
so you have to have a rooster to first. So chickens can have eggs whether you have a rooster or not. So they lay eggs all the time. But then the rooster is what can fertilize them. But you don't know which ones are fertilized or not unless you put them in an incubator. You might put 10 in an incubator and 5 might hatch. You don't know.
Got it.
So, but you have to have roosters to fertilize them. So the neighbor has probably 400 fucking chickens, and
You live
she's
next
having
to
babies all
you live next door to Purdue?
the time. We might as well. A funny story though. I do have one little Purdue chicken back there. It fell off a truck. It's the only solid white chicken that I have. It fell off a Purdue truck or a Tyson truck or something driving down the road, and somebody rescued it. And then was like a friend of a friend. They pulled over and got it, rescued it, and then asked me, would I be willing to adopt it? Like they reached out to me, and I said, yeah, absolutely. Like I don't want anything to happen to it. Bring it by. And so it's back there with the rest of my chickens hanging out.
That's pretty
So,
awesome. You give your chickens names?
yeah. The chicken, we've only given the rooster a name, Big Red. It's a big ass fucking red rooster.
I can see that.
But all the other chickens we have.
Do you sometimes go hang out? Do you sometimes go hang out with the rooster and show him like a big pack of Big Red chewing gum, and say, "Hey"?
The kids named him Big Red, and every time I think about it, I think about the gum Big Red.
Yeah.
And I know they have no idea what I'm fucking talking about or thinking about.
Is that still around? Like I'm trying to think if I haven't seen it forever.
I haven't chewed gum in forever. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm sure it is.
I do Altoids. I don't know why, but these things like in the morning they get me going.
Yeah.
I don't even know what's in them.
Yeah.
I just think they're just meat, mint powder.
It probably, yeah. I remember I used to be big on that. They're addictive.
I'm pretty sure they are. Like on some level, they're almost as addictive as cocaine. But I'm not grinding them up. I'm just going to eat them. So you're doing some events. I saw you doing an event recently. Talk a little bit about your event business.
So the last event that I did was this event called Blue Collar Ballers, and it was with Ryan Stewman and a lot of other industry leaders in the blue collar space. That some of them have really large companies, some of them that have actually scaled and exited their company, like myself. But all of them have eight and or 9-figure businesses, and so that one's called Blue Collar Ballers. That one, Ryan Stewman is a partner of mine on, and we basically talk to blue collar businesses and talk to them about how to grow and how to scale and how to market, and all the way to like exiting their company. We give them advice, and then I've had a good bit that hire me as a personal coach too, just like Ryan and some of the other guys. The next event that I have is this month on the 28th. It's called the Legacy Summit. It's actually I'm helping put it on, but it's actually thrown by one of my clients named Derek, who has a phenomenal company out in Chicago. So we're going to have the event in Chicago.
Where are you at from Chicago? Where do you live in proximity to Chicago?
I'm in Atlanta.
Oh,
so
okay.
Yeah,
I'm going to be down in Atlanta on July 15th for 3 days with the Major League Baseball All-Star Game. I host a red carpet kickoff lunch.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. If you like,
I think sports. We'll be here July. Yeah, I love baseball. Baseball and MMA is my thing.
I used to like baseball a lot more, but it's not as interesting as it used to be. I don't know why, but it just hasn't got baseball and basketball has gotten less interesting.
Yeah, I used to watch all the games, and especially like watching the Braves play. But I was younger. I knew all the players. Like they all had their like reputation and their little thing that they did, and I guess they had their own like personal brand, so to speak. People knew them back when like Deion Sanders was playing, and you knew every single player. And I don't know. I haven't watched it in a while. Now I'd go to a game. Like if I was going to go to a game, I would enjoy going to a game, even though I don't know the players like I used to. But man, I tried going to a hockey game here one time for a buddy's birthday, and we were there 5-10 minutes, and I was like, I gotta go. I can't be here. It was just too crowded and too clustered, and everybody drinking and wild as fuck. I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah, I think basketball has really hurt itself throughout the last 20 years. So surprisingly, their ratings numbers have just gone into the toilet. and they've lost the everyday fan. Like it's no longer an interesting sport.
Yeah, it's never done anything for me. I was never good at basketball either, but or played it, but it's never really done anything for me or got me excited to watch or anything like
Well,
that.
back in the
So,
day, I grew up in Chicago. When the Bulls were interesting, you had the Bulls and you had the Celtics with Larry Bird, and you had the Lakers with Magic Johnson. You had teams, and it was fun to watch the
mhm.
teams go at it with each other. And now you don't even care about the teams anymore. It's all about individual players. And when the
Yeah, I don't
game
know if
became
they did a job of branding them, or I don't know what it is, but like you're right. It's all you hear about is player. Like I could name some players that play, and I don't watch basketball at all. So, but I could name some players, but I could, faster than I could tell you what team they play for.
Yeah,
I have
exactly.
like even LeBron James. I don't know offhand who he fucking plays for, but I don't watch it and I don't care. And he doesn't pay my bills, so it is what it is.
That's probably the best thing you could say is that sports is interesting if you like it, but it doesn't pay your bills. You should focus on things that
Yeah,
matter in your life.
I see some people that that worry way too much about football games, and I'm like, how do you care so much about that? And it doesn't. You act like you're on the field with them playing, like you take it to heart. I see some people take it serious. I'm like, I don't care.
In
Wish
some
them the best.
cases, the most important thing in their life is that game, that team, that sport, and they paint their face, they wear their jerseys, they invest so much money in their relationship with the team and sport that they forget that they should be investing that money into their life, their family, their business, their goals.
Yeah, and it's like that's almost their identity versus like creating their own identity. It's like
Yeah.
nope, that's what Jim does. He every Sunday he does this, and this, and orders wings and has his beer. And I'm like, fuck yeah, I wouldn't want to be known for that. Like off of
No.
somebody else's legacy, but I want to be known for my own legacy, not for somebody else's.
I mean, you look at Elon Musk. Here's a guy that's an entrepreneur, and he is literally he buries himself into the things that are his mission. He wears a shirt all the time that says "Occupy Mars," and it's funny because
Yeah,
people think that's a shirt that he wears because he likes the shirt. He's actually telling people what his mission is. That hey, I'm Elon
yeah,
Musk. My mission is for us to occupy Mars.
and I like how outspoken he is too. And he does it. He does things for what he believes in and what he believes is right. It's like fuck the money, fuck the advertising, fuck everybody. He just
He actually
what
said that
I
on
want.
an interview once. He said, "Listen, you can offer me money, you can offer me fame, you could offer me power. Fuck it all."
Yeah,
And at the end of the day, to be a great entrepreneur, to be a great leader, you have to lead yourself first. And we live in a society today, so sadly, that so many people are afraid to speak out against the narrative or against what is commonly embraced, supposedly, because social media tries to fit a narrative into everybody's life. And in reality, you only have to live your life. You should give zero fucks about what anybody else is doing.
yeah, and it's so fucking crazy nowadays. Like you look at it, and I feel like schooling is great, but I feel like schooling develops people so much so that you have to stay between these fucking lines, and it doesn't build. It builds workers. It doesn't build entrepreneurs. And like perfect example, like when I was in school in high school, um, I wasn't the brightest kid and I wasn't the best student, but I was phenomenal at math. And I like my senior year, I took AP Calculus BC, and I would always get every answer right, but I would fail the test because I wouldn't show my work because their fucking way of doing it was the stupidest fucking thing in the world. And I would even tell the teacher, like, this, you don't have to do it this way. You can just do this and you have the answer. And she would tell me that that's not right. And I'm like, well, give me a question, give me a problem. I'll show you. And I would prove them wrong. And now my daughter, who's 8, like I had a parent teacher conference with her teacher the other day. And we were going through her math. And I asked them, I said, hey, my wife gets mad at me for this because I try to teach her different ways to do stuff. that make more sense. I said, but does she have to do it your way? I said, because your way doesn't fucking make sense. Like, and the teacher actually laughed and she said, I'll be honest with you. I didn't know how to do it this way till they told us we had to do it this way last year. And she said, but no, I don't care how she does it, however you teach her. And I said,
That's a
because
good
I
teacher.
promise you,
That's a good teacher, by the way. A lot of teachers these days are insanely weird, and that's a good teacher. And we should applaud teachers that are literally teaching. And one of the ways that you
yeah,
teach people is to question everything. I tell people all the time, especially if you're raising kids, teach your kids to question everything and verify it themselves. And that's really
yeah,
the sad fact is the world doesn't question everything anymore. And that's why
no,
we
and
were
like
lied to about COVID.
correct. And that's my biggest thing is like, why are we changing? Why is there so much change? Like whether it's in math or the lies with coaches stuff. Like I never wore a fucking mask. My wife used to get so mad just because I'd embarrass her. I'm like, I'm not wearing a fucking mask. I don't care if I'm on an airplane or I'm not wearing one. I don't give a fuck. Like I'm
Well,
not
the
doing it.
funny thing is, I don't think people understood. If you just did a little bit of research, masks stop particles that are 0.03 in size. That's what they stop. COVID
Correct.
was 0.0003 in size. So the funny thing is, to put it in perspective, it was like driving a car through a 1,000 lane highway. There was nothing, you were benefiting yourself zero.
You would literally go to a restaurant and you'd have to wear a mask, but then when you would eat, you could take it off.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck kind of sense does that make? That's why I said this
Well,
is stupid.
because
Or on an airplane,
the food kept you safe. When the food was in your mouth, you were safe.
yeah, I'm like, this makes no fucking sense. Anybody with common sense knew it was fucking bullshit. And hopefully, people that thought it was real maybe have come with some common sense now. I don't know, but I think you're right. I think the too many people are scared to question. They go with the flow. They follow that lane of traffic, like we said, and they don't want to step outside the boundary. But it's like that's what you have to do to become an Elon Musk or to start something new. Is you have to step outside the lines. You have to color outside the lines. You have to be different. Like you have to. If not, you're the same as everybody else, and I don't want that. I don't want to, be like I want to stand out. I want to fucking. I literally made a post the other day on Facebook, and I forget where I went. It was Tractor Supply or Walmart or somewhere, and but people just look at me like I'm fucking crazy everywhere I go because I'm fairly muscular. I'm not as big as I used to be, but I'm fairly muscular. I'm covered in tattoos. I got tattoos all over my face and all
I,
around my
I
head and
actually didn't
everywhere.
notice it until you just brought it up. No, just kidding.
Yeah, I know, right? But like, and then I might have like a shirt like this on or something smart, but people look at me like I'm fucking crazy, and then I'll sit there and watch like I'm wild or I'm not gonna do like abide by the rules or whatever, and then I watch these lazy motherfuckers not even put their shopping carts back, and
Yeah.
it's so like annoying to me because there's a thing if you can Google the shopping cart theory, which I'm a big fan of, and it's funny, but it talks about the science behind it or the methodology behind it. But the shopping cart theory is like one of the only things in the world that shows if you're going to do the right thing when no one's looking, because everyone knows you should put your shopping cart back, essentially, is what it says. But if you don't, you're not doing it because you're lazy or you think you can get away with something. Because if you don't put it back, there's no real consequences. There's no jail time. There's no probation. There's no fines. There's no nothing. You just don't put it back. You might have somebody cuss you out or call you lazy fat fuck. But other than that, that's it. So it's funny to read the whole thing and how they actually word it. But it's called the shopping cart theory. You'll enjoy that. And but it's like you're looking at me like I'm a piece of shit because I got tattoos or whatever, and I'm with my kids like hanging out, and you won't even do what's right and put the shopping cart back.
It's
Like
funny. It's
so,
funny you bring that up because I was at Ross the other day, here in Vegas, and it was nighttime and it was raining and so on and so forth. So I'm actually waiting for an Uber to pick me up. Lost my left eye to a stroke years ago, so I'm not a good guy to be driving a car. and I put the shopping cart back into the thing. And as I'm walking back, because I needed to get closer to the store to get picked up, I see this idiot, this lunatic, scratching up some guy's Tesla with his key. And I'm thinking to myself, so many people saw this guy. Like there was tons of people out there shopping over the weekend. So many people saw him. And he's literally he's like putting writing stuff on there, and I don't know what he was writing. It was dark, and like I said, I have poor vision to begin with. But I literally grabbed him and I said, "Hey, you can't do that." Why? He goes, "Why? Is this your car?" I said, "No, it's not my car." And I put him on the ground and I literally from my phone called 911 and I called the cops. But here, the thing that blew my mind about this whole incident was there had to be conservatively 30 people that saw this guy because he was like taking his time and I don't
No
know
one
what he
will do
was
anything.
writing. Huh?
No one will do anything.
Yeah, so many people walked away, walked by, kept walking by. And I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck is this guy doing? And I just said, I can't do this. I can't walk by and not do anything. And then it got to the point where he wanted to escalate it, and I said, all right, let's escalate it. And then luckily the cops came really quick. They were like super late in the area, and then they took him and they arrested him and they got rid of him. And it's funny because as I'm telling my story, the cop went around and asked other people that were watching, "Hey, did you see this guy scratch the car up?" And he's like, "You're the only." It turns out you're the only one that saw him doing this. And I'm like, "Well, how many more people do you need?" It's like he was scratching it. You got the evidence. It's his key in his hand. What do you need other stories for? And then when they left, I thought to myself, "Holy fuck! All these people with video cameras shooting this video of this guy getting arrested." And nobody was willing to say, yeah, I saw that guy scratching up the guys. Now, granted, it was a white Tesla, and I will say, unless you had a flashlight, it was hard to see all the scratch marks. But when you put the flashlight on, he scratched up the back fender like crazy. And finally, when the guy came out that owned the Tesla, he came out and he talked to the cops and he talked to me. He's like, man, I'm so thankful. He goes, I don't know why that guy did that. And I mean, I think everyone knows why it was a political statement. But at the end of the day, I mean, it was raining. I was soaking wet. My Uber guy drove away. But I thought to myself, we live in a society where people will walk by and see things happening, and they won't stand up. We live in a society where men have become so weak-minded, not weak physically. Some are weak physically, but weak-minded. We used to have strong men that founded this country, that made this country great, that did, like one of my buddies, he gets paid to put buildings together structurally, and he over 30 stories, he gets paid, I want to say, some insane amount of money, like $350 an hour. But he's a nut job. Like he walks on beams. Like
Yeah.
what he does requires incredible fearlessness. And I
Yeah.
don't even know if he still does that job. I think he saved some money, and he had a couple of accidents. And yeah, it's tough when you fall from a large height. It meant he was tied to a rope once and he fell, and it was right at his waist and his back. He had hurt his back horribly because granted the rope saved him from dying,
Yeah.
it basically affects your lower spine horribly. I think he had like
Oh,
a,
sure.
a situation where the disc popped out, and it was just a bad situation. But back in the day, men were strong and they made this country great. Today, men are weak and they're making this country weaker. And the fact
Yep.
that I'm sitting there in the pouring rain and I'm literally trying to hold this guy down, like I'm literally got my knee on his neck and I'm literally trying to dial 911. I even asked like a bunch of people, "Hey, dial 911." And nobody fucking did it. So I'm sitting there with my iPhone, and a couple of times I got to hold him down. And I'm thinking to myself, holy fuck, like this is unbelievable. And then when the cop said, "You're the only one that saw it," I thought to myself, there's no fucking way I was the only one that saw it. There's no fucking way. People were watching this guy do it because he was like doing an artistic job. He wasn't just scratching, he wanted to make a statement. And I thought to myself, when you talk about the shopping carts, people walk by and they're oblivious. Like, granted, you don't put a shopping cart away. Get it? I get it. You're in a hurry. You got to get home, whatever. But if you see somebody doing something like that, that's wrong. That's wrong on so
Yeah.
many levels. And granted, It's not my car. It's not your car. It's somebody else's car. But guess what? That somebody else might not have the money to repaint or fix their car, or
It's
they
still
might
work.
be having.
They work hard for that money for that car.
Trust
Like,
me, it was a Y, so I don't know what they go for these days, but I'm pretty sure Tesla Ys are like, 80, 90 grand. And funny thing is, well, my buddy said, hey, he's getting a ton of people bringing their Teslas in that have been scratched up. He's like, some of his paint jobs are like 7 grand, 8 grand. So I thought to myself, that's a lot of money. Like somebody, and granted,
yeah,
you got insurance, so you got a deductible, whatever it is, $1,000, but that's money. That's money. You're out of your car. That's money out of your pocket, all because somebody wants to make a political statement for whatever reason.
yeah, that's fucking stupid. And then what if it's a young kid too? I mean, most adults can't afford a random
Well, here's
thousand
the
extra
funny thing
thousand.
is the guy that did the damage was an older, skinny, scrawny, older guy. Like he was like you would think that this was like some young, Gen Z or Gen Xer, but no, this was an older fuck. And he was just trying to he was trying to like get involved in the whole, I guess, social media narrative.
Yeah, I don't do well with that kind of stuff. My I scare my wife a little bit sometimes because it's like I'm gonna speak my mind when I'm
We have to.
me.
We have to encourage men to speak out. We have to encourage men to be stronger. We have to encourage men to be fearless. And I think what happened was so many military men and women lost their jobs because of, and I'm not going to say it again because this video will never get published on YouTube, but at the end of the day, the media punished so many men and women, but mostly men, that men became coward. They got beat. They got whipped. It was almost like, okay, I'll not speak my mind because I can't afford to lose my job, or I can't afford to lose my social media account, which, by the way, rest in peace to my Facebook account. I'm sure I lost that a long time ago. But at the end of the day, we lived in a time for the last 5, 6, 7 years where little social media, for lack of a better word, I'm going to use the word Nazi, but whatever you want to call them, they basically took away people's pride. They took away people's strength because they punished people so publicly by banning them or censoring them or literally getting them fired from their job, whether they were in the military or they worked for some sort of company. And that hurt people, but it hurt men the most because men now realize if I speak up, I'm taking a risk. And like most men, or most people, people are fearful of risk because I always tell people, you know what fear is? Fear is the devil telling you you're going to fail and fuck up. Do you realize that God, he wakes up every day with a box of popcorn. He can't wait to see what you're going to do and succeed. God gives you faith. The devil gives you fear.
Yep, yep, 100%. And I mean, you're right. So many people did get scared to say certain things or type certain things or whatever because they felt like they were going to be canceled. I didn't give a fuck. I mean, I had my company, multiple companies, and I knew like the normalcy of like don't post religion, don't post politics, don't post race, don't post shit like
Okay,
that. Normal stuff
just
that you
just
wouldn't
for full
do.
disclosure, if you're following me on Instagram, I post all that shit.
Well, I do now, but I don't. I don't. I sold my company, so
Yeah, exactly.
all my other companies I don't have partners in. It's just me, and I can kind of speak my mind and say what I want. But I didn't want to ever lose, 50% of your clientele because you say that you vote this way versus this way, or you do this versus this, or whatever it is. So I would encourage all my, and plus, same thing with hire when you had a team of people that worked for you, like you never wanted to create any division amongst everybody on the team as well. Like, because some people take things like me, like I don't, if you vote a certain way, like I don't care. I might think that you're a little weird, but like I don't care. Like if you drive this car versus this car, if you like this versus this, like I don't give a fuck. Like everybody, you're your own person, make your own decisions. I'm going to do what I think is best for me and my family, and that's it. But it's not going to bother me to where I lose sleep about it or to where we lose a friendship over it. You know what I mean? That's your prerogatives, and that's what's best for your family. I don't care. It's like me getting mad at you for going to eat Taco Bell. Take your family to Taco Bell. I don't care. If that's what you want to do, and
I
take your
mean,
family to Taco Bell.
for the record, if we're going to talk about Mexican food, let's just realize that Chipotle just crushes them all.
100%. That's one of my. We went there last night, and that's one of my daughter's
Hey,
favorite places.
did you try the new honey chicken?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
The honey
so
chipotle.
while I love that and it's a good new addition, can we at least, if Chipotle, if you're paying attention to this, can we bring back the brisket, please? I don't know what the hell happened, but can we bring back the brisket?
So they just introduced the honey chipotle here in Georgia. They
Yeah,
had it. Let's see here. We went to Nashville around Christmas time. So every Christmas, Thanksgiving, Christmas, we'll go to Opryland Hotel in Nashville. Once they have all the Christmas lights set up, and I think we went. Well, we went Christmas Day. We left Christmas Day, and we were there for a week. So when we went to Nashville, they had the honey chipotle there in fucking Nashville. And then I was like, I love this. We were going there almost every day because my daughter loves it, and it's clean food. So if I want something quick, I can eat it. And then we got back to Georgia and fucking never. Like I was going to all the Chipotles around here trying to find it, and it's not here. And I'm like, what the fuck?
you're
And
like,
we
fuck,
just
I
so
gotta
happened
move
to
to
go
Nashville.
yesterday.
You're
I
like,
know. And it just we so happened to go yesterday, and then it's there. And I'm like, thank God. So I don't know if it's going to be a long term thing. I don't know if they're just trying it out, or maybe they're just trying it out in Nashville, and now they're going to actually implement it. But I definitely like it way better than just the normal chicken.
yeah, I
So
think you said the best word when you describe Chipotle is it's clean food. Like their rice, whether it's the brown or the white rice, every single time I eat it, it's well done. It's great rice, and it's a good starch that if you're going to add to your meal. And then they have vegetables and their food quality. I mean, the food quality is phenomenal. So yeah, hats off to Chipotle. They are
so
yeah
the only place that I'll say that is kind of fast food ish that I think schools Chipotle is if you've ever been to Texas, and I think they have a couple locations in other places, but Texas, they have a lot of them. There's a place called Hawaiian Bros, and it's a variety of different styles of chicken, just plain grilled chicken, teriyaki chicken, sweet and spicy, just straight hot, like variety of different styles of chicken, just like Chipotle, with white rice, like sticky rice, and pineapple and macaroni salad. But like, I'll just get the pineapple and fucking a shit ton of rice and a shit ton of chicken, and it is so. And pineapple helps with digestion, so it's super healthy
yep
too.
yeah it's
But it's
super
so
healthy for you.
fucking.
By the way,
That's one of my.
I don't know if you make protein shakes at the house, and I'm actually saying that with tongue in cheek, but vanilla protein powder with pineapples and banana. People don't believe this, but that shit is fucking delicious. And then if you throw a little cinnamon on
So,
top, cinnamon helps curb your blood sugar. And for me, I have blood sugar
yep.
issues. So yeah, I got to tell you, pineapple and vanilla protein powder, they are good. You know
Yeah,
what?
cinnamon's good. L-carnitine. If you're not taking L-carnitine will help with your blood sugar too.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah.
I got no joke, probably 30 vitamins I take. Big fan of On It, which is Joe Rogan and Aubrey Marcus's deal.
Yep. I take that.
There's an
L-carnitine is one of
event.
the biggest things.
There's an event coming up in Dallas called Sub Summit, and I'm hosting a private dinner down there. Are you familiar with that event? It's basically all the subscription people that have subscription businesses.
I'll have to ask Todd Abrams, who is one of my partners at Icon Meals. He's the main.
Yeah,
He's the
I'm
main
actually
owner.
interviewing Todd this week. I texted him last night.
So Todd is. So I invested heavily into Icon Meals. He's a very,
Yeah,
very good friend of mine. I talk
yeah,
to him every single day.
I think he's the
Um,
founder, isn't he?
yeah, he's the
Yeah.
founder. He'll tell you about Hawaiian Bros too. How good it is. But
Shout out to Hawaiian.
I'll have to ask. I'm sure he knows about the event because every time I go to Texas, I see Todd and hang out with him some, or we'll hit up some different gyms.
Yeah, Todd's doing great. I actually love everything about Icon Meals. Like it's actually good, um, for lack of a better word,
It's good.
prepackaged food. And I'm not kidding you, that prepackaged stuff, sometimes it doesn't work out that good. His stuff, I don't know
Right.
if it's how they package it or when they ship it or how it gets here, but it's always good food. Like it's always good.
It's it's all fresh. It's all vacuum sealed,
Yes, there's something about the
and
way they seal it.
so in the process of like, so I've gone through the kitchen too. and like the process of how they do everything is fucking incredible to watch. Like even all the way down to like the soap and washing your hands. Like there's these red and green lights that come on. Like when you get soap, when you can, how long you got to scrub your hands for. Like everything is super technical, and but then there's all these people weighing out portion size because everything's straight to the portion. You even got custom meals that some people would do. Like I would order custom stuff for me and my daughter, and but the it's funny, you watch it, and I don't know if it's different foods or the amount of foods that's in each one of those containers, but there's a different amount of like pressure or vacuum seal that has to take place for each thing that comes down the line. So anytime they change, they're moving from one thing to the next, they will change up on the computer that this is what we're about to is coming down the line next. And then there's literally somebody down at the end of the line doing quality control. And like the first 6 or 7 that come through, they look at each one, they look at the corners and the sides, and then they toss them out because they're not sealed yet. And then once the sealing plate, like once the vacuum pressure or whatever the fuck it is, I don't know, but it's above my pay grade. But once they have that on point, and then the meals are just coming steady. So it's the quality control that they do there, and like the efficiency and looking at the assembly line and everything, it's crazy.
It's definitely the quality control because when it comes to food, quality control and freshness and food quality, those three things are like the biggest things that you have to focus on when you're in the food business. And yeah, it's definitely the quality of the food. Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Icon Meals crushes it, literally crushes it.
That's literally all I eat. Every single meal is icon.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't take this wrong. I love cooking my own stuff. Like I don't know what it is, but I just love making food. And I love adding my own seasonings and stuff. And like I think that yeah, I think that making food is fun. I like making rice. Like it's crazy. I like making good rice. But
Oh,
yeah,
I love food too. I wanted to be a chef when I was younger, but just from the easeability, and sometimes I'll throw something in with it. Like a lot of times too, I'll order like especially with the meat in bulk, whether it's the ground turkey or ground bison or especially for the kids.
well, I like the meats that I can't easily find, like the ground bison or the bison.
Ground bison, phenomenal, yeah.
Yeah, the bison's great. Yeah, like it's hard to make bison. I don't think people understand. Bison is a tough meat, and the way they make it
Yeah.
juicy and flavorful, that requires a little bit of skill. And I tell people like, listen, if you're gonna get bison, you gotta add something to it to make it juicy and flavorful.
Yeah, I'll get like the bison and make some rice and put some rice with it and whatever, like G Hughes sugar free barbecue sauce or like some hot sauce, something like that, and
Yeah.
I'm good to go.
Well,
So a lot of times,
I put bone broth in with bison, and I'll literally simmer
yeah,
the bone broth, and that'll make the meat more juicy because it soaks up the bone broth.
bone broth is super healthy for you. A lot of people don't realize
Well, not only
how
that, but
good it is.
here's a life hack that will blow your mind. If you buy high quality French onion soup, it is the best additive that you can add to steak. I literally simmer steak in French onion soup, and it gets the flavor of the onions in there, the merlot, and then literally the steak puffs up and absorbs the moisture from the soup, and then you can grill it to whatever you like. And then when you eat that steak, you're tasting the onion, tasting the French merlot, you're tasting everything, but the meat itself is juicy. It's amazingly juicy.
Huh? I'll have to try that.
I'm pretty sure you're gonna make steak this week. I'm pretty sure you're gonna be like, honey, I got an idea.
We're going to now. We got some in the freezer ready to go.
I
I just bought a quarter cow not too long ago, so I got plenty of meat.
The one thing I would tell you is you got to find good quality French onion soup. Not the garbage stuff, but like just spend a little extra and get the good stuff. I find that Progresso makes a good can of French onion soup. And if you just let it simmer, you let the steak and meat simmer, you'll see it turn gray, but you'll also see it get bigger, almost like 1.5% bigger. It'll get fatter. And then when you grill it, you realize, and then you can use that juice that's left in the pan, as almost like a gravy. Trust me, that's yeah. That put that
Oh,
in wing count.
that's
Hey, so when I end a talk like this, and this has been great, by the way, we got to do this again. Somehow we're going to connect somewhere in life. I don't know where, but maybe down in Dallas, down at Sub Summit. But somewhere we're going to connect. Or you know what? Worst case, we'll connect during MLB All Star Weekend. I think you'd enjoy that event. And by the way, when I say the event, I'm not talking about the game or the home run derby. I'm talking about having dinner with brands and athletes. And literally, when you sit down and break bread and have food with people, they put this thing away and you build real connections. You make valuable connections.
100%. And that's the most important thing. I'll credit all my success and everything that I have to different connections and networking. If people knew how important it is to network, I feel like they'd do it a lot more.
Yeah, I've thrown 294 private dinners, breakfasts, and lunches. And I tell people all the time, you can get on a stage and speak from the stage to 1,000 people. And because the lights are on the stage, and I've spoken on a lot of stages, because the lights are on the stage, you can't see what the crowd's doing. So you don't know if they're paying attention to you or listening to you. But these days, 95% of the people in the crowd are quick, tic-tacking and Instagramming and texting and emailing and checking out their calorie counter for the day. They're not paying attention to you. But instead of
Yeah.
1,000 people that you're talking on a stage to, go have dinner with 200 high value individuals. I guarantee you, those 3 hours having food with those people in that room is going to be more valuable from a standpoint of making high value connections than talking on a stage.
100%. And more impactful too.
Yep. And you'll actually and I tell people this also too. When somebody offers to hand you a business card, you don't have to be rude, but I haven't taken a business card from somebody in 15 years. I say, listen, keep that for the next person you meet. Let's start a text dialogue. And when you start texting somebody and you start having a dialogue via text, first and foremost, when somebody gets a text message, in the first 3 minutes, those text messages are read 97% of the time. So it's real time communication. And I tell people one of the best successes of my life, where I've met unbelievable people, is when I just say, hey, let's just start a text dialogue, and I'm sure something will come out of it. I guarantee you, when you have somebody's phone number and you can text them, you can actually talk to them in real time. And by the way, you don't have to
Correct.
talk to them and actually, have a conversation. Texting is a great way to give somebody, hey, I got this little bit of information that I need to share with you, or hey, I want to introduce you to this guy, or hey, I want to ask you this question. That's the kind of communication that people at a high level want to have because they want to just get to the meat of the matter.
Correct. Quick and efficient. Yep.
So as we end this talk, I want you to leave people that are watching this with something inspirational, something that will get them off their ass to chase their dream, chase their perfect ideal weight, something that will inspire them to move forward in life. Most people are just being paralyzed by the devil's fear, by the devil telling them what they can't do. And faith is the only thing that carries people to what they can do.
So I feel like the biggest thing in all realms, all aspects, whether you want to talk about fitness or business or any areas of life, the biggest thing that's gonna change is your mindset. First and foremost, you have to know that you can literally accomplish anything that you want in life. You're gonna have setbacks. You're gonna have roadblocks. Like one of the biggest analogies that I like to use when I talk about like roadblocks or any sort of like speed bumps that you hit along the way is, if I'm coming home tonight after I go to the gym and I hit a roadblock, I'm not just going to sit there and wait for the fucking like construction to finish or the accident to clear up or whatever it is. I have to find another way home. And that's a lot of times what you have to do in fitness or in business or whatever it is that you're chasing. Like, so you're going to come across hurdles. You're going to have to you just can't fucking give up. And you have to know that you control your life. Like you can either create your life or you can just stay between the lines and somebody else can create your life for you. And you can just go to your 9 to 5 and abide by all the rules. And I feel like way too many people, and this is why I tell my story so much too, like from where I used to be to where I am today, not to brag or toot my own horn or anything like that. It's strictly because I want people to realize that it doesn't matter where you're starting at, what age, how much overweight, how broke you are, whatever. if you're here and you want to get to here, you can fucking do it. But you have to be willing to go out and create it and put in the work. You can't just sit around and wait for one of these days it's gonna happen. Too many people are content with, well, this is it. This is my weight. This is my job. This is my this. This is my that. Like, and it's no, like this is your this because you're content with this being your this. This isn't all for me. Like, and I tell everybody, like, I'm happy right now, but I'm not content. Like, and I'm doing great, but I have so much more things that I want to accomplish in life, whether it's just goals, whether it's monetarily, whether it's whatever, that like I want to do to leave a legacy for my family and my kids and make everybody proud. Other than that, like, I'm not going to sit around and wait on shit. Like, and that's the biggest thing that people have to understand. People aren't going to come knocking at your door with success or a magic pill for nutrition. Like, go out and fucking get it and make it happen. Whatever it is, you can do it.
He's Todd Price. He's got his head screwed on straight. He knows where he's going. He knows how he's getting there. Todd, let's chop it up again soon one day, okay?
Let's do it, brother. I'd love to.
All right, man.